have seen the sine and cosine graphs in degrees. Today we'll see the sine and cosine graph, the basic graph in radians. It's exactly the same concept, but we change the degrees to radians. So 0 degree will be 0 radians, 90 degrees will be pi over 2 radians, 180 is pi radians, 270 is 3 over 2 pi, and 360 is 2 pi radians. So we use this instead of degrees. So the basic graph of y equal to sine x, the sine graph. The sine graph will be x in radians and this will be the y. So always, like, the maximum will be 1 and the minimum will be -1. So the 5 points we have will be 0 degrees, which is 0 radians, 90, which is pi over 2, 180, which is pi, 270, which is 3 over 2 pi, and 360, which is 2 pi. We need always 5 points, we said. So the sine graph starts always from the x-axis. So it starts from 0, it goes to the maximum, it comes to the pi, it goes to the minimum, it ends up here. So this is exactly the same like what we have seen in degrees. The only difference now, the period will be in radians. The period will be 2 pi. The y-intercept is 0. The x-intercepts are pi over 2, which is pi, and 2 pi, and so on. We keep on adding 0, pi, 2 pi, and so on. We keep on adding pi. And then we have seen the maximum is the same as we have seen 1, and the minimum is -1. So this is the sine graph. The cosine graph is exactly the same concept we have seen before, y equal to cosine x. We have always the 5 points. X is in radians, and y, the maximum is always 1 and the minimum is -1. The 5 points is always 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 over 2 pi, and 2 pi. Cosine of 0 is 1. Cosine of pi over 2, which is 90 degrees, is 0. Cosine of pi, which is -1. 3 over 2, cosine of 3 over 2 is 0, which is 270. And cosine of 2 pi is the same as 0, which is 1. Therefore, cosine graph starts always from the maximum. This is one graph. Okay, so this is what we have in cosine graph. Okay, so there is only one cycle here, the cycle continues, and exactly the same way we can say the period is period is 2 pi radians, which is like 360 degrees, and the y-intercept is 1. The x-intercepts are pi over 2, 3 over 2 pi. We keep on adding pi. The maximum is 1, the minimum is -1. Okay, so these are the basic graphs, and we'll do transformations with the next lessons.